taking our 6-year-old to his very first Highland Festival in Fergus, Ontario.
Very nice.
What are your favorite things to do or see at these events? And do you have any advice for him? Any advice for the 6-year-old?
Get in the head of a 6-year-old. What are the things?
I'm hungry.
Yeah, indeed. I have to pee.
I don't want to walk anymore.
All right. What do I
I
want to do as a 6-year-old at the festivals? Don't make me smack you.
Dad.
All right. If it were me, I would see make it a fun experience. You want this to be a good memory. They're old enough that they will remember this later on. So
traumatized by this
or be traumatized by it. Exactly. So good on you for thinking in that way. I would check out the festival to see if they have a kids area or any kids activities.
Right.
I know Celtic Classic has a kids tent with coloring and that kind of stuff. Or if there's any presentations, like historical things that are aimed at kids, or is there like a area where they try on like suits of armor or try on a kilt
any
or
kind of
jousting.
a please touch.
Yes.
Kind of a please touch feature is going to be your best bet.
Yes. So I would start with that and try, if they do, or if it's at a particular time, make note of it, set an alarm on your phone, make sure you're making time to do that for the kid. The second thing I would do is show them things that they won't see elsewhere, i.e. like feats of strength. So if you're going to a Highland Games and there's going to be a caber toss, bring him to the caber toss. Show him like how huge these things really are and how impressive it actually is. Try to get to the front and maybe see if any of the athletes will talk to him. Maybe try to get a high five from some of the athletes. The first time I took Liam to a hockey game, I got seats right on the edge of the thing where the Reading Royals was the game. But it was like right behind the bench where the players come out. So you got to put his hand out and get high fives from all the players at age 5. And it's still something that he remembers. Or maybe he's even younger than that. He's like 2 or 3. It's still something that he remembers. So trying to create little moments that he will remember, like, wow, that dude who was out on the field who threw the big telephone pole, he came over and talked to me. That was awesome. Or if there's kid events for it to start their love of the thing. Mm-hmm. That's kind of where I would start. Eric.
Yeah, yes. Have a good night, folks. I would say I would take the kid's personality into account. You know your kid better than anybody else, and what you like may not be the same thing that works for them. Having been the parent of a special needs child, I know that certain activities at events like that are not going to go over well. Loud noises are not necessarily a good thing. Think about what your kid is capable of absorbing, and think about what they seem to have as interests already. I mean, one kid may be really turned on by the caber toss and think it's amazing. Another kid may just want to see the sheepdogs. They might want to see the border collies herding the sheep around. In fact, most 6-year-olds will love that, and it's on their level too. It's at their height, assuming you can get a good view of the event. So I think animals are always a lock. Kids' activities and getting to handle things is always a lock. Food, I would not push the food. The last thing you want is them to be grumpy or to get sick from something or decide they're not in the mood to try something new and they refuse to eat. So you have a hungry, dehydrated kid on your hands. So don't say, we're going to buy haggis. They got haggis here. We're going to have haggis. We're going to have hot fish and chips and it's going to burn you on the mouth.
You're going to love vinegar.
Yeah, exactly. So the food stuff I think is for a later age.
Yeah.
And I'm speaking the obvious perhaps, but
or be flexible with it. If they want, like, you get what you want to get for food, but if there's a popcorn vendor, give them freaking popcorn. If there's a place that has sweets and treats and stuff for kids and like little candies, especially if they're like British candies,
right?
Great. Let them have some of that. Let them have shortbread.
Yeah.
Things that they might actually like versus you must have haggis.
Yeah. Keep them well fueled, keep them well hydrated, and kind of follow their lead. No event is just banal at a Highland Festival. I mean, there's always going to be something going on that they'll like. I do recommend having ear headphones or earplugs again if you have a very sensitive child. Having dealt with kids who are on spectrum, like I said, there's just some things you're not going to do with them because they're not going to react well. But for my money, it's the dogs. It's the dogs and the sheep. that's the for 6-year-old. That's always a lock, in my opinion. And frankly, it is one of my personal favorite events because I really love dogs. So
I'll take it as a left turn off of yours a little bit and say that, again, you know your child better than anyone else does. So what is their level of alertness and things like that are throughout the day? Are they an early riser? If so, get to the festival early.
I was thinking about that
Maybe
too.
if they nap every day at 2:00, maybe get there early and plan on leaving by 1:30 or so,
Right.
so you can get back to the hotel. Or do they like to hang out all day like a party animal? Great. Or maybe make sure that there's enough time to rest and sit down. One thing that when I started becoming a hockey coach, one thing that was pointed out to me that was one of those like, wow, that makes so much sense. The reason why the young kids, as they're just starting out, actually play hockey cross ice, and then once they're a little bit older, they graduate to half ice, and then once they're a little bit older, they graduate to full ice, because the legs of a child are much smaller than the legs of an adult.
Really?
And walking a mile for a child is not the same as walking a mile for an adult. It takes twice the amount of energy. They have twice the number of steps that an adult does. So you get less tired than they will get. So making sure that you're taking enough breaks for them will matter as well. So I never thought of it in that way, but it's, playing hockey for a kid on a full-size rink is like an adult playing on 2 rinks.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's a good point.
Yep.
I think that's why a lot of people will take strollers for kids, even if they're a little older than most kids would want a stroller, or you wind up carrying the kid on your shoulders. I've done that a million times too. Yeah, but I mean, I'd look for kids' activities first, storytellers. If they see someone in costume, let them interact with them because kids tend to love people in costume.
Depends on the kid.
Yeah, it depends on the kid. Yeah, well, it does, again, because some kids have anxiety and they don't want to do that. But
the thing you didn't touch on, I was kind of trying to alley-oop you, is going and seeing the music. If they like music, then expose them to the music. And again, try most artists at a Celtic festival are going to go to the merch table after their set. So if they have, like, if Almanac is playing, if Piper Alley is playing, I know that both of them love seeing kids, love meeting kids, love seeing kids dancing. So if your kid loves music and loves dancing, get them out, get them in front, let the musicians see them, because there's a reasonable chance the musician is going to feed off their energy as well, like a vampire or something. But and then afterwards, if you can interact with the people that they are seeing, it would have made more of an impression on me, I'll put it that way, at that age, getting to meet someone who's up on stage that everyone's clapping for, and then I get to meet them. And what musician is going to like poo-poo kids?
I get it. I think in my mind, I was thinking in terms of caution, and therefore I was imagining my autistic kid, not my other kid, because my daughter at that age, she would just be down there partying. I mean, she would, if I took her to an Almanac show, she'd just be like, wah! And she'd be like in a mosh pit. I mean, she's crazy. Love dancing, high energy, very high spirited kid. My son, complete opposite.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, yeah, that's why I'm speaking more the general. You're speaking to more of a specific instance. But, again,
I'm sounding cautious.
You know your kid.
Now,
yeah, but you know your kid better than anybody else. So pick the things that they would like.
It's Peter, so his kid's obviously a nerd in training.
That's fair. Mr. Mack, you have something to add?
I will say it is the 80th anniversary of the Fergus Scottish Festival in Ontario. So if you are in Ontario or near Ontario, August 8th through the 10th, that is when the festival is. Almanac is there. Mm-hmm. Red Hot Chili Pipers are there, and Bay City Rollers are there.
Ooh. So if you're watching this right now, then go. If you're watching this as the edited version, then you missed it. So sorry, so sad.
It's always good to support festivals.
I don't disagree.
Somebody should make a video about that.
Yeah,
try and get that message
indeed.
out there.
If only there was a video. Link over there somewhere right now in the edited version of this, talking about why Celtic festivals are such an integral part of our culture here.
And are under threat.
Indeed. So What's the earliest memory you have of doing stuff with your parents? Let us know in the comments, what age were you when that memory was formed? And what other things did we forget that kids would love to see at Celtic festivals? Tell us in the comments.